Hey, witches.
Hi, hello. Welcome back to another episode. Well,
The
the
final
finale
episode.
of Eyes Are the Best Part.
Yes. This was a
This
wild
was,
ride.
it
The
was,
whole
I
book.
wasn't like, I don't know. I was expecting other things. I'm not upset with it. I'm like
Yeah.
happy about it. But I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was a wild ride, and I wasn't ready for specifically what happened,
Yeah.
but I also wasn't mad at it.
Yeah. It was clever. It was
It
very
was.
clever. I liked
And
it.
I'm still reeling because I'm still rooting for Ji-won in all of it.
Yeah. Same. Even with her, like, the ending, I'm just like, yeah, girl, you go. You go.
Yeah, you
You
do what you gotta do, girlfriend.
Yeah, it was great. But, um, so yeah, we basically end off where she still doesn't have her backpack. She has another nightmare about who might possibly have her backpack, where it is, all of that good stuff. And this time she's having a nightmare about Alexis having her book bag.
Yeah. And so she has a dream about it, or kind of.
A nightmare.
Yeah, she has like a nightmare about it. And then um she calls Alexis and is like, "Do you have my book bag?" Like, she for some reason thought this was a prophetic dream. And I'm like, she keeps doing this. She keeps like pushing people away.
Hmm.
Like the people that do care about her and that she does truly make a connection with, she pushes them away. Um, and she's kind of doing it to Alexis now. But
And her psych makes it harder.
yeah.
Like, she, is just sitting there thinking, like, she's supposed to be your friend, she's supposed to understand you, but she's just like everybody else. And so, like, mentally, she's pushing people away, not realizing that that's what's hurting everything.
Yeah.
Um, so, like, because she calls and not necessarily accuses her, like, asks her, and then, like, doesn't believe her on the first go around and then starts questioning things, Alexis is cold to her the next day because, like, obviously things are weird.
Yeah, like that's awkward. And why are you accusing me of having your backpack? You're being fucking weird. And this
Yeah.
isn't the first thing you've done that's been weird. So yeah, chapter 59 was really just like 2 pages, well, like 1.5 pages. So that was the whole thing. It was just that little scene.
Yeah.
Um, 60. It's honestly, the rest of these chapters are really short. 60 is 1 page. Um, and the biggest thing about 60 is it's everything's falling apart. G1 is talking to her mom, and her mom is like, after the wedding, he's going to be here permanently and he will be a good father to you and to you, and I swear it.
Yeah.
Lady, he's a piece of shit. You
Mhm.
just were screaming at him on the phone asking if he's even gonna be there for the wedding.
And it's 2
Like,
weeks away, and you haven't really
right.
seen him,
And
and
so
she, like she wanted to tell him that, like, she already has a father, and, like, like, George's just a man. I would've told her that they are to blame for all of this, her despair, her family's unfolding, the killings, everything, and I was like, honestly, in a way, she's not wrong.
true. She's really not. I mean, is her psyche and her unbalancedness really responsible for the killings? Yeah, but there's
Yeah.
always a trigger. And
There's always something that brings it up and, you know, trauma does crazy things to you, so
yeah.
and the fact that, like, she went from having a family to a broken family and hasn't spoken to her father in, like, 3 or 4 months.
And when she did speak to him, it was like one word answers. He was trying to get off the phone. And
Yeah, like, he didn't care about her, which is really, really kinda fucked up considering, like, those are your kids, but I get it. Like, we learn a little bit more about Uma and Appa's, like, story a little later, So, like, I can kinda understand it, but also it's like, take it out of the like, take
Those are
Uma
still
out
your
of the
kids.
picture. Yeah.
Yeah. But chapter 61, um, Jeffrey. Um, where is she? She's at the library
Yeah, she's at the community tables.
and she's
She
using one of the computers,
Yeah, got a laptop.
and Jeffrey just shows up and he's like, "Did you give any thought to what we talked about the other day?" And she's like, "I don't feel like that about you. Like, there's no thought to give to it. We already had this conversation. It's done." And he's like, "You haven't even tried. You can't say no when you haven't tried."
He also I really like that this author made a comment during this whole thing that, like, a blush was starting to creep up on his skin, and some people think,
Yeah.
"Oh, he's blushing because he's nervous," and it's like, no,
No,
he's
he's
getting
angry.
mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting mad.
This is
Like,
abusive behavior.
yeah, and it's amazing, like, actually going through an abusive relationship and, like, watching somebody with anger issues and, like, just getting a degree in psych and then just seeing the similarities, like, it's honestly not breathtaking, but it's, like, freeing in a way.
Yeah.
Like, the signs are there, you didn't miss them. It's not you, you're not the problem kind of thing. It's, like, subtle signs you don't know until it's too late.
Yeah. And so he admits that he's been following her.
Mhm.
Um, and he also admits that he took her backpack. And she's like, "You took it. Why?" And he says, "Because you need to learn some sense, Jiwon. If you can't see what's good for you, I'll have to show you. You can have your stuff back when you've proven that you deserve it. I have it locked up in my room at home." So you're blackmailing her into what? Liking you? That's gonna work.
Yeah, and it's like, he said, "I tried to be nice, I tried to make it happen organically, but you had to ruin everything, G1." And it's like, boy, I tell you what, you're doing this all incorrectly. Two, you don't sit there and, like, blame the girl that you quote unquote love to be in the problem.
Well, and also, like, I think one of the things that's so poetic about this story is that he's clearly a manipulative, mentally disturbed man.
Jackass.
Yeah. And what he doesn't realize, so he's a predator. And what he doesn't realize is that the prey he's going after is a bigger predator,
A better what?
a better predator. Yes. And I think that's fucking hilarious. But
She's
also, he's just fucking creep.
manipulative, and I love it, yeah. Well, and then she starts to say, like, "I didn't ruin anything," and he goes, "Don't act dumb, I've seen you hanging out with Alexis at all hours of the night where you should have been with me instead. You let her get in between us, she ruined everything," and it's like, would you read that outburst and you kinda been in, like, a manipulative, abusive kinda relationship, that triggers. I was like, "Oh, shit," like, "Oh my god, it's
Yeah.
my fault," like, "I'm sorry, it's my fault." You go through, like, a triggering moment,
Yeah.
and it's just terrifying because women go through this a lot. I mean, men
They
do too.
do. And the last thing he says before he walks away is, "I wish you would stop being so difficult, but I know how shocked you must be. I'm an understanding guy, Jiwon. I'll give you some time to think about it. I know you'll come around." And then he touches her shoulder and walks away.
Yeah, and then she's like, "I'm going to ruin you," and, like, keep that in mind, I'm going to ruin you,
Yep.
like, physically ruin you
Right.
to
I was
where
like, "She gonna eat his eyeballs."
I know, I was like, "Is she gonna" well, I was like, "Okay, well, she hates his eyes, but, like, maybe she'll take him out and just squash him.
Right?
You'll never be able to look at me again, bitch. Can't stop
I
me
have to
now."
write something down because I have something to say, but I don't wanna say it yet because 'cause we're not to that point. So hold
Okay,
up, pause.
okay. But anyways, when she said, "I'm going to ruin you," I was, like, thinking the, Star Wars character meme. Yeah, the character meme where it goes, "Do it." I was like, "Yes, do it. Get him, girl." But
Okay,
anyways, chapter
wrote that down.
62.
Chapter 62 is another just one-page chapter. and we see Uma unraveling a little bit.
Yeah,
She's still making the paper flowers for the wedding, even though at this point, like, she has to know realistically that,
it's not happening.
yeah, this is not gonna happen. Um,
But, like, she puts
and
on her wedding dress, puts on her veil, and
and
then
she's
just
sitting
continues to
there.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, uh, but the mom is like, "I made both of you in my stomach and grew you for 9 months. I created every part of your bodies. No matter who you meet, I will always know you and your sister best." And then in her head, Juana's like, "When I was younger, I used to think that this meant my mom could read my mind. She knew when I was lying. She knew when I did bad things. But as I get older, I realize that she's lying. She doesn't know me. And if she did, she wouldn't act like this. She wouldn't have done the things to hurt me. Most importantly, she wouldn't have brought George into our house." And I'm like, valid reaction, honestly.
Mhm. Honestly, and it's sad to go through what chapter are we on? 60.
We're 62 still. We're about to go to
Oh,
63.
okay. Never mind. My comment's about 64.
Okay. 63 is a half a page chapter. Um, there, um, her mom's making fish for the first time in a long time. We learn that, or confirm, I guess, that Jiwan is basically stalking George. She tells us that she drives by his apartment on numerous occasions, and his truck is there all the time. And she's even caught glimpses of him and Jen together. Um, and she basically notices, kind of for the first time, that Uma is physically unwell as well as mentally. Her cheeks are sunken, her fingers are raw and bleeding with her nails basically torn off. Um,
From the flower work that he doesn't do.
yeah, and she's really, really thin, so she's starting to see that as well. We're starting to see everybody unravel. And now we're on chapter 64.
Okay. This one was really sad to, like, look to read because it's like, you see the mom's despair, like, "Why was I not good enough?" Like, "My parents left me." And here's the problem, she experienced that at such a young age that she probably can't even, like, go through the motions that this is a it's not something that she could
Did.
change or did
Yeah.
anything. It was the circumstances of her time. But because that happened at such a young age and she probably didn't heal from that, when Appa left, she just kind of reverted back to that childlike thing and again never recovered from it because she couldn't. She
Mhm.
um, maybe culturally didn't know how to do that. And then now going through the same thing with George. So she's like facing some major issues with, why am I not good enough? Why is everybody leaving me? And then we learn a little bit more about like why she's going through this. So she followed George the other day, Uma did, and found him with another girl and talked about how much more beautiful she is, how much pretty like more pretty she is, younger, all of that. Um the sad thing is like she doesn't realize that he's just a serial cheater
Yeah.
and a predator himself. But we also learn how Uma and Appa came to be. So she originally claimed that Appa was mad in love with her, head over heels, love at first sight sort of thing. And she had to be convinced. Well, actually, it was Appa that had to be convinced. And she not necessarily trapped him into a relationship, but had to convince him to get into a relationship with her. And she had her citizenship. He did not. So
Mhm.
it was kind of like a means to an end sort of thing. Um, so he had to be convinced because she didn't have any prospects. And she was kind of like, what do I do? What do I do?
Mhm.
So she wasn't even Appa's first choice, which is even more sad to hear about
Yeah.
why she's going through all these feelings. And it's like, damn, it's like a guy who's madly in love with you just fucking leaves you. Like, God, that's fucked up. But no, like, we realize that she just was
Yeah.
desperate.
It was never that case. And G1 is kind of, like, commiserating or, like, identifying with her because
Hmm.
she's like, "I know what it's like to never be someone's first choice because their mother loves Ji-yoon more, their father chose another woman over them." Like, she has kind of taken on some of her mom's stuff. But then she's like, "Oh, you have to get up. Mrs. Shin is coming to pick you up today." And, um, it's kind of a role reversal. Like, she gets her up and she helps her brush her teeth and puts her hair up and, um,
She's
then
caring for somebody who probably never, like, gave her that
yeah,
when she needed it most, which is very poetic, sad.
yeah. And all of this is just more fuel for her fire because after they leave, she rushes upstairs to get ready for her last final, and then she's like, "There's an energy thrumming in my veins, an anger, fury, the desire to punish, to exact justice. Tonight, George will finally get what he deserves."
And I was like, "Yes!
Right? Right, and that's the
Finally!"
thing. Like, I am rooting for her, and, like, she is fucked up. Like, she's not
We
okay, but I'm
I tell
still
you what,
rooting for her.
we picked the best time to have, like, feminine rage, book.
Yeah, we did. Oh, yeah, we did. I
I'm
could use a
telling you what,
little less detail in the descriptions of what it's like to eat an eyeball, but
especially when you're, like, eating something, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I agree.
I know I almost had Brittany talked into like at the beginning of the first couple episodes of this book. I was like, I really think you would like it. It's like kind of like a murder mystery sort of, and it's like a thriller. I was like, you should listen to it. And then as we got to like the end of part 3, beginning of part 4, I was like, you shouldn't listen to it. You should not. No, don't listen to this one. Listen to the next one.
I think Will would like this because it's kind of a quick read,
It is a quick read. That is a good thing.
and he could listen to it,
In
and
a
it'll be
day,
fine, yeah.
probably.
Yeah. I think he could do it. I think he'd like it.
Yeah.
I convinced him to read Fourth Wing. Let's see if I can convince him to read this one.
I think this one would be an easier sell, honestly.
Yeah. He hasn't even touched, the second book for Fourth Wing, so it definitely would be an easier sell, but anyways,
Yeah.
65.
65. Um, this chapter is a little longer than the past couple. We got a couple pages here instead of just a single page. Um, and Juon is setting up the
Trap.
the trap. Yeah, she's already got her little fake dating profile that she's matched with George, and she's scheduled a time. Wait, no, she's meeting him as herself for this, isn't she?
Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
realize it's gonna be her, but she's going to meet him for coffee.
Yeah. And so
So,
she's got her Ambien crushed up into a powder,
ready to
ready
go.
to go. Um, and she goes and she orders the coffee and makes it up exactly how George likes it. Um, and as he parks, she like rushes over to his truck. She doesn't even let him get out.
Now she
Um,
rushes to get into the truck and then locks the door.
yeah. And she's like, we have to talk. And he's like, can this wait? I'm a little busy. I'm supposed to be meeting a client in a few minutes. And she's like, I know there's no client. That was me. And he's like,
Yep.
what? Like, he's like shocked. And she's like, I just want to talk. I bought you this coffee as a peace offering. Please have a drink. And, um, she's like, I wanted to talk to you about the wedding. Mom's not been well. Um, and he's like, kind of dodging. Um, and he's like, "I'm gonna be on my way. I'm not gonna argue with you." And she's like, "There's something else I want to talk about. I heard you talking about me and my sister." And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And she's like, "You're disgusting." Um, and she starts like screaming at him. And he says, "You caught me. I'm a man. I do what all men do. Congrats. Can I go now?" And it's disgusting because the men that act like this really do believe that. They
Yeah.
really do believe that all men do this and all men feel this way and all men act like this. No, sorry, sir. Not all men are pedophiles and disgusting. Um,
This isn't garage talk
right.
or anything of the sort. This is predator
You're talking about a
speaking.
15-year-old. That's
Yeah.
disgusting. That's a
Calling her a
child.
slut.
Right.
This book reminded me of when so I had a friend in like 7th grade, 8th grade or something. I think it was 7th grade. And um me and this other girl were invited to go to her house for like a birthday party. And let me tell you, walking in, I already knew at that point like I probably should have just left. Like you ever just walk into a house and you're just like, this isn't
The vibes are off.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she had a she had a brother, like an older brother that was like mentally challenged in some way, shape, or form. I don't know like what he had. I think he was in like a wheelchair majority of the time, and he was literally blockaded into a room by himself, and there was nothing in there. He just like stared at plywood all day long.
Yeah.
And I could hear him in the other room, and I was like, "What is that? Like, what is that noise? Like, who is that from?" And then you could like literally peek it. It was like one of those like farm doors kind of things, but it
Uh,
was just plywood that could not be removed. It had to be removed by somebody on the outside. He couldn't remove it. So he's just in this room by himself for God knows how long
mhm.
with nothing to do, nothing in there to do. And I was like, okay, well, that's fucked up. Now I feel bad. Like, I don't
Right
know
now,
the
I don't want to be
situation. I
here.
don't know any of this, but like, I don't feel comfortable now. And then her dad started talking about, and by the way, we were 14, 13, 14 at this time. And he starts talking about our breasts, our boobs to our face.
Oh,
Her dad talked about her breast, like his daughter's breast, and these two other girls' breasts to his face, like to our faces. Talked about all of them. Talked about how like, oh my God, look at those mounds. Like, and yeah. And then he like was making a joke. He was like, sometimes I just want to sit on her chest so that I could push them back in. And
what is wrong with you?
I was like, okay.
I want to go home
And
now.
I was a chunkier, like at this point, like I hadn't lost a lot of weight. So like I was coming into a not a good place as a thick child
Yeah.
who was developing. And I was like, so I told my parents as soon as I got home, I was like, this made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, you're never going back over there again. That's fucked up. And then basically this kid, my friend and I wrote her a letter saying that we couldn't be friends with her because her dad was weird. And then we watched her read it and she was like crying and she was like an emo scene kid. So like she was over the top at a lot of things and then like ran away. And I'm like, do you not realize that your dad is weird as hell? It has
Right. And
nothing
like,
to do with you as a person. It is your father.
well, and part of it too is like, are you okay? Like, what's he doing when people aren't around?
Yeah. And like at that age, you don't even think about her safety.
Yeah,
You're
you
just like,
don't.
I just feel uncomfortable. I don't like this. She's weird. That's weird. Like, why is
Because
she
also at
allowing
that
this?
age, you don't think that
You're still a little
people
bit
would do that to their
naive.
own child.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Like,
people are gross and that people are uncomfortable, but you don't realize that people would do it to their
right.
own kid.
Well, and that's the thing too, because the girl I was friends with at the time was like her dad was in jail, prison, whatever. Like, her mom was not, like, a good person either, but, like, never they like, literally the worst thing I feel like I remember them doing was, like, drugs, not in front of us, but,
Right.
like, I knew that they did drugs because that's what he was in jail for, or her dad, and so she lived with her grandparents, and, like, I never felt unsafe in, like, with them with their friends or, like, with her parents, even though they had, like, a rap sheet. It was strictly her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the shortest friendship I ever had, but anyways. It's just kinda like
Yeah.
this, like, he thought that was normal, George is thinking this is normal, like, this is not fucking normal, this is bad shit. Anyways,
Yeah.
okay,
Well, and so then
that was
the
whew.
ambient starts kicking in for George. And Ji-won convinces him to get into her car so she can drive him home.
Like, "Oh,
Um,
mom Uma will take care of you, you'll feel better, it'll be fine."
yeah. But instead of going home, she pulls up to an empty construction site. And unfortunately, she kind of underestimated how much Ambien she was going to need for George because when she starts to cut out his eye, George starts fighting back. And
To me, George just seems like the person to take Ambien for fun,
right, like he
or, like, to go
probably
to
is
sleep.
uses drugs recreationally already, so
Like, if he's going to Taiwan for 2 weeks, like, does he have access to drugs there that he doesn't normally here? Like,
right. And so he attacks her and is like shaking her and he lands on top of her and is choking
out of the
her.
car, yeah.
Yeah. Um and then all of a sudden headlights come up and fucking Jeffrey's there.
Now,
um
something we didn't mention, she did text Jeffrey to meet her at this, like, specific spot.
she did. She did because she has a plan.
So, Jeffrey did, in fact, show up as scheduled,
Yeah.
um, and did find George choking the life out of Jiwon. So, like, lucky for her, he was on time.
Yeah, and then he grabs a rock um and bashes George's fucking skull in.
Yep.
Um
That Ambien will make short work of him now.
yeah, and then in the distance she hears sirens because I
Bum
believe
bum.
she also called the police.
See, yeah, I was like, why? First of all, this is like, when I read in the distance, I heard sirens. I was like, oh my God, this is so smart. Like, get both
Yeah.
of them in trouble, get both of them in jail. Like, oh, this is absolutely brilliant. That's not what happened, but I like appreciate how I was hoping it would be happening.
Yeah.
So she not wakes up. She is now having another nightmare. We don't really know where she's at this point. She's just having a nightmare that George is burying her.
Yeah.
Um, and then then she mistakenly, sees Jeffrey, but with blue eyes, still, basically burying her alive. And I mean, at this point, we don't realize that this is a dream. It
Yeah.
doesn't start off as a dream. This could be very fucking real. Um,
But
and
then all of a
then
sudden her mom is there.
yeah, and then her mom's there. She is screaming, frantic, and then Jiwon hugs her mom and everything, and then she's like, "I'm sorry, I wasn't a good daughter," like, professing her, like, concerns to her mom, and then she's like, "What do you mean? You're the best daughter, I love you, da da da." Um, and then Dream Uma looks at her and tells her to hush and not to say anything else, and then she wakes up, and I was like, "Is that, like, your subconscious telling you to shut the fuck up because you're, like, saying it
Right?
out loud?"
And when she wakes
Um,
up, she's in a hospital bed.
so It was
and
still
Uma
a
is
nightmare.
there, and so is Ji-yoon, and they say she's like, "What happened?" And they're like, "You have a brain tumor." And then Ji-yoon goes, "Well, had." And I was immediately like, "Are they gonna tell me that this was all because of the brain tumor and, like, it happened in her head and none of this was real?" Like
This is where I was like, no. I'm gonna be really pissed off if, like, her feelings are not validated, and it was
Yeah,
because she was crazy due to a tumor.
yeah,
But it makes sense that all the times that she, like, was getting anxious and, like, probably her blood pressure was rising, she got, like, blinding pain in her head and, like, she just saw white. She couldn't see anything like a migraine symptom.
yeah.
So it makes sense for that. Because I was like, is that like a trigger every time she gets that? She's like, "I gotta have an eyeball or I'm gonna, like, die," sort of thing. No, it was because of, brain tumor, so that's crazy. Um,
Yeah, and
but,
she's
like,
like, "Where's
as
George?" And
this
she's asking if he's alive,
this shit
and
pissed me off because he's alive.
uh-huh, uh-huh, and Uma
What
says yes, and
also huh?
I was gonna say Uma says yes, and then Ji-hoon says, "Your friend did a number on him," and she immediately is like, "Jeffrey is not my friend." And then she's like, "Where is he?" And they're like, "You're safe now. No one can hurt you," because they think that Jeffrey was there to hurt her because, you know,
I wonder if Jeffrey or if Uma thinks that George saved Ji-hoon from Jeffrey,
ew, maybe.
because we find out that he's alive, he's in the same hospital, and, like, she's obviously gotta do her job quickly before he talks, if
Yeah.
he remembers anything appropriately, but
Yeah. And then we find out that she didn't call the police herself, which was a little disappointing, but it was a neighbor on a walk with her dog that heard the screaming. Um, and Ji-hoon is like, "Is that what really happened? What were you and George doing there?"
Ji-hoon knows.
And she's like, "No, she's right. Because Emma's like, leave her alone." Like, she's like, "No, no, she's right. I asked him to meet me. I wanted to talk about the wedding. Um, but when he came, I started asking him all these questions. We started fighting, and then Jeffrey showed up. Um, and Jeffrey keeps trying to see her in the hospital because he's out on bail. Um,
I
and
just wanna know what his
Ji-hoon,
parents are doing. Like, your son just got arrested for what might possibly be, like, a murder charge or attempted murder charge,
well, they
and
might not be around. Like, he's
true.
at college, right? So he
I thought he
might
just
be
lived with
from
his
out of state
parents.
or something. I mean, I know it's a community college, so probably not, but
Yeah, I don't know. But
um,
they, they're just trying to figure out what happened and what's going on around him, and she's not able to see anybody. Uma will, like, go away in the middle of the day to go, like, do something weird. Not weird, but, like, go to the bathroom, go get a snack,
are we on chapter
and then
67 now? Yeah. Never mind. Go ahead.
oh, okay. Um, what is it? Um, but, like, she's doing really, really well, so she might even be able to get taken out of the hospital here soon. Um,
Yeah, but when Uma leaves the room, she's going to see George,
yeah,
which is in the hospital too, which is just ugh.
and we're trying to figure out and that's why I think maybe Uma thinks that George was, like, helping her,
Right.
um, me and, like, maybe the bruises on her neck wasn't from George, but actually was from Jeffrey, but and even though Ji-hoon is saying not Ji-hoon, Ji-won is saying that, like, he started, like, choking me. Like, it does not matter. I don't have a child, but I feel like this is something I would do. As soon as somebody says he was choking me to my child, like if my
Mhm.
child says that to me, I will go murder them myself.
Right. I'm gonna go see him, but not just to visit. Like,
You better get the bail money ready because I'm coming for blood.
and it's not like she goes in there once and tells him off and comes back and never sees him again. She is frequently visiting this man in the hospital. Like, she's still
Several times a day.
trying to be with him, which is just
And
what?
yeah. And it's like, are you serious? Um, and there's like a random door that's attached to her room. And she tries like exiting out to see which way Uma goes. And then like a nurse catches her and then says, "Oh, what are you doing up? Do you need anything? It's time for your pills." Like all these, like, she's trying to
Yeah.
get out. She can't get out. And the end of 67 is wild because the nurses come by with all her pills. Um, Now whether or not she takes all of them is something else. So she takes I take everything he gives me except for the 2 little round pills. That are stamped with a tiny R and P. Those I hold under my tongue until he walks through the door. When I'm certain he's gone, I take them out and hide them under my pillow. I know they would make the ache disappear, but the pain serves as a reminder. And I was like, first of all, what the fuck is going on? Take your fucking pills.
She's insane.
But
Even
it makes
without her tumor,
sense.
she's still fucking insane.
Yeah.
But
So I think,
also, like, it's kind of a calculating thing too because she took the pain pills and was out of it. Would she say something?
yeah, I was going to say she's also, I think, protecting herself in a way.
Yeah.
We don't realize how she's protecting it, but she is protecting herself.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, so that's 67, 68.
Um, so this is kind of where Uma is going back and forth to George and
This
she's
is where we find out where George is staying too.
yeah, she's still lying to them. Like she'll say, "Oh, I got lost on my way back to your room." And like she's just still lying to her daughters about this man and I just can't. Like Uma fucking sucks. I realize she's got a lot of trauma and that's why she is the way she is, but she fucking sucks. She
Like,
needs some
it
help.
doesn't, if you've bragged so many times about how these are your daughters, you know everything about them, you do this, you do that, and like you love them so much that you're going to take care of them, and you just crumple
Right.
to a man who tried to kill your daughter.
Right. And half the reason your daughter is in the hospital, I mean, not the tumor. The tumor is obviously not George's fault. But like the reason that she went to the hospital in the first place is because of George, as far as you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you, ugh,
Well, and
the
it's
fact that you
like,
would leave your child's side who almost died to go to a man who is part of the problem and part of the reason
yeah,
she's even in the hospital is just wild.
yeah. And it's like her mom leaves. She asks her sister to go do something for her, and then she tries to leave to find out where Uma is and try to find out, like, where this guy is. And she,
She
let's
goes to
see.
that other door that's in her room that's
Yeah,
between the two patient
she
rooms.
hears, while she's outside of the room, she hears her mom speaking softly. And then she
Yeah.
goes to that door and then opens it, but it's locked from the other side.
And she
And so then
knocks and is like, Uma, is that you? And it sure is.
it's like, first of all, the lock should have been switched.
Uh huh.
The lock should not have been on his side. It should have been on
Correct.
her side,
He attacked
considering,
her. Like,
yeah. Also, why is he in the same hospital within inches of her?
right. He should not
That
be in the
is,
same hallway, anywhere near her.
yeah, and he's not cuffed to a fucking bed.
Yeah.
No, fuck this. Yeah, first of all, this hospital, fuck you. That's
Yeah.
bullshit. Ain't no
Yes.
way a victim and a predator would be on the same floor, let alone attached to each other.
No.
And she basically gets the door open and asks what she's doing in there, and then she sees George laying in bed next to her room.
Mhm.
Um then Uma goes, "Where's your sister?" "Oh, she's getting me some water." "Right, right. I got lost looking for your room."
Mhm.
"Did you?"
Bitch, I
So
could
then
see
she's
him right there. Like,
yeah. Then she goes, I smile at her and pat her head. "Of course, don't worry, Uma." And it's like, that's honestly really fucking annoying.
mhm.
Like, I would have blown up on her right then and there. I don't care if I had a tumor removed or not. Like, I would have looked at her and been like, what the fuck kind of mother are you?
Yeah. Yeah. And then in chapter 69, we find out that her father's just as much of a piece of shit
Oh, yeah.
because he knows all of this is happening. He knows she's in the hospital, um, and hasn't been to see her. He's worried, is what they said. He hasn't been to see her. Why? She's like, "Is that all? Like, I'm fine." Or Uma starts to get up to help her because she pushes herself into a sitting position. She's like, "I'm fine." What else did he say? Why isn't he here? Why doesn't he care about me? Like, which is a valid,
Yeah.
like,
If Uma can
very
go through those
valid.
feelings, then she can go through those feelings too.
But then what she finds out is that, um, her dad and his new family are having a baby. And she says she's gonna have a baby brother soon. What? That's not a good enough excuse to not come see your daughter in the hospital when she almost died.
Yeah, your first
Both of her
child.
parents suck.
Yeah, they do. And Uma's like allowing this as well,
She's
not
like, "Isn't it
really.
exciting?" Like,
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so I get it. You're not happy either about it, but like, I wouldn't even have brought it up. I would have been like, he's just a terrible person. We're not talking
right.
about him anymore.
Or like you would commiserate. You'd be like, "I'm so sorry that he's not here. This isn't right." Like, not
Yeah.
just brush it under the rug like it's okay.
Yeah. Like, oh, a boy, you'll have a baby brother.
No, my mom would be like, "Oh yeah, he's got a new family now, so he's not here. He's a piece of shit." Like,
Yeah. Like,
and
we
my
would
mom's
have
not a
been
confrontational person, and she would still say it like that.
yeah, it's fucking stupid. But, anyways.
Chapter 70. Um, she so she those little pills she's been saving were oxycodone. And she dissolves them in a glass of cranberry juice and goes into George's room
Yay.
and murders him. She pours the glass of cranberry juice into his open mouth. And his breathing slows, growing fainter and fainter until it stops completely. Then she takes her a knife, which she has wrapped in her dinner napkin because all of a sudden she's smart about fingerprints and shit. And cuts his eyeballs out.
Yep.
And then, like, she saves the eyeballs until she gets her dinner and plops the eyes in the pile of rice and eats them.
Yep. She's like, I must be slow and meticulous. I cannot just devour them. And I'm like, wild. She's eating it like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, she's like she cuts off tiny slivers and is eating it real slow. And, um, it's so wild. But I'm also like, they would have noticed because the minute his heart stopped, an alarm would have gone off. He's in the hospital. So I'm a little confused by that.
Is he attached to a heart monitor though?
Maybe not, I guess, but I feel like usually when you're in the hospital you are, but I guess I don't know. Um,
They
but
never
then
really extended the like what his injuries were. Like we didn't hear much about like how bad it
Right.
was.
Right. I don't know. But at the very end of that chapter, which was literally only like a page long, um, she calls Jeffrey.
This is where it becomes wild.
Yep. Chapter 71 is very short as well, but basically, um, Jeffrey shows up and he's
Starts,
immediately like, it's so good to see. He's like fawning over her.
yeah, and like I'm so glad you like let me come in. They wouldn't let me see you. I've been trying to tell them what it was that I did. I got arrested. Um
And
and
she
then
maneuvers him. She's like, before we talk, can you help me clear some of this way? I want to get comfortable. And like gestures to the tray and dishes on her lap. And so he takes the tray and then she's like, oh, and can you take the knife? And so he grabs it by the handles. Now his fingerprints are on the knife. And then he comes back over to sit down with her. And again, is manipulating her. I'm a nice guy, she won. Like I've been telling you, you just have to give me a chance. You owe me. I saved you from that guy. First of all, you owe me is a wild way to be like, you should fall in love with me.
mhm,
The fuck? And then she's like, I keep having nightmares because of George. He's over there. And points at the door, which Jeffrey rationally freaks out about that. He's like, what do you mean he's right there in the next room? Why are they letting him be there?
valid. The only thing we will agree on, sir.
And so Jeffrey's like, no, this isn't okay. And goes over and wrenches that door open.
And walks in.
And then by the time that Jeffrey has a chance to like start processing what he's seeing, Jiwon has already pushed her help button and is screaming,
It's
which
like,
is just like,
oh my fucking God,
wow,
that's just
chef's
genius.
kiss. Like,
It's like, all right, well, this is what you get, bitch.
yeah. So she didn't want his eyeballs, so she didn't want to kill him, but she's sure gonna make sure he takes the fall for all of these other murders that she has
Yeah.
committed. Chapter 72 is the last. Oh, wait, no, not the last chapter. There's a
73.
73. 72. Um, the police officers show up and she puts on the best act of her life because she's like, is George okay? And they're like, he's deceased. I'm so sorry. And then she's like, oh my God, did anyone tell my mother? Like, um,
She'll be so upset. She'll be so sad.
yeah. And she's like, I was sleeping and when I woke up, Jeffrey was standing above me with a knife. He was threatening me. He told me he was going to do to me what he did to George. He was acting crazy and that's when I pressed the button. Like, she's just so good. She's like, what did he do to George? Did he stab him with that? Knowing damn well she cut George's eyes out with that. But he did show them that he had a phone call from her. And she's like, does that sound familiar at all? And she's like, yes, he was calling me every day, sometimes 10 or 20 times a day and sending me hundreds of text messages. It was too much. I called him to ask if he would please stop. I guess it was a mistake. And like she goes on and on. She's like, is this my fault? Would George still be alive if I kept my mouth shut? Like, she's good. And she's like, because they're like, we'll call you if we have any other questions. And she says, I doubt I'll ever hear from him again. The knife that was used to kill George is covered in Jeffrey's fingerprints. When the police conduct a search of his home, they'll find another murder weapon, my pocket knife, which will be a forensic match to my prior 3 victims. And since he's been following me around, law enforcement will also be able to ping his cell phone locations and place him in close proximity to where the killings happened, many, many miles from his home, away from his home in the valley. It's a no-brainer, an open and shut case. Wow. Wow. Just chef's kiss, Jiwon. I'm so impressed.
Like,
She
that was
murders one of
perfect.
her, like, predators and frames the other one for it. And they both fucking deserve it. And I'm just like, mwah,
That's
chef's
perfect.
kiss.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And now the final chapter, 73, is super sweet.
Kind of. Well, so I was like, oh, so it's gonna be happily ever after. Her tumor's gone. She's not gonna have these crazy urges to eat eyeballs and kill people anymore. Everything's gonna be great.
But we found out it probably wasn't the tumor that caused it.
Yeah.
Although her like fantasizing and like the mass amounts of
And the
like,
hallucinations and stuff.
yeah, is probably not going to be a thing anymore. But like
Yeah.
she's got one final thing to do to
Yep. She's got
be
one more.
happy. But yeah, so there's two things in 73 that I highlighted, and it was Uma allowed the men in her life to control her, to tell her what to do, and to make all the big decisions for her. Without them, she's lost adrift at sea. And it's like, that's how you know manipulation was key in all of
Yeah.
that. But she goes on to say, my mother may be too weak to protect herself and my sister too young, but I'm neither of those things. It's like, damn right, bitch. You
Mm-hmm.
definitely are. And so then towards the bottom, she goes, and then I'll pay a visit to the person responsible for all of this, the one who is ultimately to blame, Appa. I'll punish him for everything that he's done to us, to my mother, to my sister, to our family. This time I'll make sure he can never hurt them again. And it's like, is there a second
Mm-hmm.
book?
Right? That's what I was thinking. Or at least like a short story,
Yeah, because
like
I was
a
like, okay, well, now that her
novella.
tumor's gone, she'll be able to like fall in love with Alexis appropriately and like do all these things,
Yeah.
um, while also killing her dad. And it's like, where is it?
Right? I know. I was thinking the same thing. It doesn't seem like she plans to write a sequel, but
No, because the other book that she has written is called Molka, and it's definitely something different.
yeah.
So
But yeah, that was this book. It was a wild ride. Um,
I don't know who told
Not
me
something I would have picked up myself
yeah,
probably, but I'm not mad that I read it.
yeah, I'm glad whoever told me to read it. I'm glad that like that was said to me because I would have probably never even seen it.
Yeah, same.
So I love it. Anyways, so that is The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. You can get it on Kindle, you can get it in any other book you want, but it was a good book. I recommend it.
Yeah, it was pretty I mean, now
So
you know the ending, but
now you can witness it firsthand.
yeah.
Anyways, until next time.
Bye.